Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Shia followers of the Ahlul Bayt worldwide celebrate the birth anniversary of Imam Hussein Mujtaba alayhi salam. Indonesian actors successfully reenact the tragedy of Karbala. Hindu extremists attack 110-year-old Islamic schools and burn over 4,500 books in India. Taliban authorities ban UN female employees from working. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. With Ramadan reaching its half, Muslims around the world hold celebrations to revive the memory of a character who saved Islam by virtue of patience, prudence and generosity. Imam Hussain al-Mujtaba was born on Ramadan the 15th in Medina and was the eldest son of Imam Ali and Sayyidah Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was the second Shia Imam, succeeding his father Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhum as-salam. Imam Hussain and his brother Imam Hussein alayhum as-salam were described by the Holy Prophet as the masters of the youth of paradise. He is one of the 5 companions of the cloak who were honoured by God in the verse of Tathir and being purified from all ill and evil. Along with his brother Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he was taken to the event of Mubahala to represent the sons of prophethood and prove for the Prophet's truthfulness. He served his father Amir al-Mu'mineen in significant events, including the Battle of Jamal, where he fought the exceptional valor and skill to defeat the army of the Nakithin led by Aisha. He assumed leadership of the Muslim community at a time when Muawiyah was seeking to consolidate his power over the Muslim world with numerous plots and conspiracies. Although Imam Hussein alayhi salam set out to eliminate this evil permanently in the battlefield, he was forced to accept a treaty when commanders and much of his army abandoned him. His decision served to expose the true nature of the enemies of Ahlul Bayt, as Muawiyah never fulfilled the terms of the treaty and continued to deviate from the teachings of Islam and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet. Imam Hussain alayhi salam always kept his house open to visitors who would enjoy generous provisions of food and drink. He constantly gave money and possessions in charity to the needy and would never reject a plea for help. Over the past 2 days, a group of young actors in the Indonesian city of Bandung presented a theatrical show recalling the struggle and jihad of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and the painful tragedy of his martyrdom on the battlefield in the holy Karbala. Jakarta News Network said in a report translated by Shia Waves agency that the theatrical performance reenacted the painful massacre of At-Taf and the memory of the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and its reflections on reality. The report also added that the play was presented by a group of young Indonesian actors and was written and directed by journalist and writer Rose Abe. The news network described Imam Hussein alayhi salam as the beloved of the noble Prophet alayhi salawatullahi wasalamu alayhi, and who was killed by the army of Yazid bin Muawiyah in the holy city of Karbala in the year 61 after Hijrah. The report also stated that the play succeeded in restoring the audience memory of this bloody tragedy. The theatrical performance also touched on the injustices Imam Hussein alayhi salam was forced to endure as he was assassinated by Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, who obtained caliphate through cunning and ferocity. The report concluded that Yazid bin Muawiyah is also no different from his father. He sought to establish his rule and obtain in various ways the legal recognition of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and when he failed to obtain the Imam's recognition, he dispatched his army to kill the Imam and his family members and his faithful companions. An armed mob of around 1,000 people vandalized a madrasa in Bihar Sharif's Mahurpur locality and set fire to its library, said Muhammad Siyabuddin, the Imam of the mosque and the caretaker of the madrasa. The 110-year-old library with a collection of over 4,500 books was reduced to ashes in the attack. He said the mosque's minar tower was damaged and the district administration is carrying out repairs. We had just finished Friday prayers when the violence erupted at Gagan Diwan locality near Hotel City Palace. A mob then entered the madrasa and started hurling stones. A member of the mosque's peace community was threatened to chant Jai Shri Ram. They threw petrol bombs into the mosque and they set the library onto fire and set vehicles parked on the premises on fire as well. Mr. Siyabuddin said it is unfortunate that rare books were burnt in the attack, which was carried out with the intentional hampering of the education of children, said Sarfaz Malik, an advocate of Bihar Sharif court, who resides close to the madrasa. Residents of Bihar Sharif said media outlets and the area was not witnessed with such violence since 1981, when 54 people died in communal clashes. According to reports, prohibitory orders have been imposed under Section 144 of the CRPC in the area. Internet services have been suspended in the district, and the ban is expected to be placed for the next 48 hours. Let us remind our respective viewers of today's headlines. Shia followers of Ahl al-Bayt worldwide celebrate the anniversary of Imam Hussein al-Mujtaba. Indonesian actors successfully reenact tragedy of Karbala. Hindu extremists attack 110-year-old Islamic schools and burn over 4,500 books in India. Also tonight, Saudi Arabia closes Umrah registration for the rest of the blessed month of Ramadan. Female Afghan employees of the United Nations have been banned by the ruling Taliban from working in the country. UN officials said on Tuesday that the UN mission expressed serious concern after its female staffers were prevented from reporting to work in eastern Nangarhar province. We will continue to pursue all avenues to ensure that we can reach the most vulnerable people, especially women and girls, UN spokesman Stéphane Durex said. Despite initial promises of a more moderate rule than during its previous stint in power, the Taliban have imposed harsh measures since the seizing of power in 2021 as US and NATO forces were pulling out of Afghanistan after 2 decades of war. Girls are banned from education beyond 6th grade, women are banned from working and studying, traveling without a male companion, and even going to parks. They must also cover themselves from head to toe. Durex also said female staff members are essential to executing life-saving UN operations on the ground, saying that out of the population of about 40 million people, we're trying to reach 23 million men, women and children with humanitarian aid. The UN has also said about 3,900 staff in Afghanistan, approximately 3,300 Afghans and 600 international personnel. He also said that including 600 Afghan women and 200 women from other countries. And now we'll continue with some short news. As part of its charitable and philanthropic activities during the blessed month of Ramadan, the Sayyid al-Shuhada International Committee, headquartered in the state of Kuwait, has distributed hundreds of food baskets to hundreds of Shia families in East Africa. It is worth mentioning that the committee had distributed on the 3rd day of the month of Ramadan hundreds of food baskets in Tanzania to assist people meeting their daily needs. It should be mentioned that the community operates under directives of the Supreme Religious Authority, Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi. The Shirazi-affiliated Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra complex, based in Kabul, Afghanistan, launched an iftar banquet for hundreds of families who were registered with this complex. The iftar banquet, launched on Saturday, the 10th of Ramadan 1444 after Hijrah, was attended by more than 450 female students of the Islamic and Quranic sciences, as well as disadvantaged orphan and other orphan families. More than 80% of heat-related deaths predicted in the Middle East and North Africa could be averted if global warming is reduced to 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. According to new research published in the Lancet Planetary Health, the study adds about 1 to 3 people per 100,000 are expected to die of heat-related causes every year by 2100 if temperatures rise significantly, since population growth is identified as the main culprit. Authors strongly advise authorities in MENA region to adopt better demographic policies regarding health and aging. Yeah. Islamic Relief USA to distribute Ramadan food packs in Tulsa. Islamic Relief USA, a non-profit humanitarian organization, recently distributed food boxes to disadvantaged people in Tulsa metro area amid growing food insecurity in the country. These Ramadan packs included rice, dates, cooking oil, flour, pasta, and other items. According to data collected by Iris Yusu, 34 million Americans say they did not have enough food to eat each week. The organization has planned other food distributions in the region to help ease for the burden for vulnerable families. The International House of Pancakes, IHOP, on Route 46 in Ottawa, has introduced a new halal menu during Ramadan, meaning the customers that can now enjoy items permissible under Islamic law, including turkey bacon and chicken. The place is already a popular convenient choice for Muslim Americans because they can eat tasty dishes like omelets and pancakes before the start of their fasting day. Suhaib Jubran, partner and manager at the restaurant, says he always wanted to make this happen to make the Muslim community in the New Jersey area feel comfortable with the food, adding that now they have halal American foods. The Saudi newspaper Okaz revealed that it is no longer possible to receive new appointments for those wishing to perform the rituals of Umrah, whether for those coming in from inside or outside of the kingdom, for the remaining days of the holy month of Ramadan. In Ramadan, Muslims from all over the world rush to perform Umrah, especially in the last 10 days of the blessed month, which is the most popular time after the Hajj season. The Nusk electronic application of the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah showed that there is no possibility to obtain a reservation to perform the rituals of Umrah during the rest of the current month of Ramadan. Last week, the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah in Saudi Arabia announced the availability of Umrah permits for the last 10 days of the great month of Ramadan, according to Okaz newspaper. Nearly 130 Rohingya Muslims leaving Myanmar for Malaysia by boat were arrested by the junta's navy in water of Mon State on Sunday, after brokers revealed information about them to local villagers, RFA said in a report. A resident said a boat was seized when the arrests were made near the Gulf of Martyrdom in southeastern Myanmar after brokers went to buy food in Chuangshan Township. Authorities have sent 65 of the boat people to Myanmar prison in Mon State to await trial. The lawyers representing the Rohingya said the junta often regards such people as illegal immigrants and they would like to be charged with immigration law violations. According to the report, the 4 brokers who were Buddhists from Western Myanmar's Rakhine state were also arrested. Several Rohingya Muslim children were also on the board and were being cared by the local people. The residents said more than 740,000 Rohingya fled Rakhine following a military crackdown on the ethnic group that started more than 5 years ago and now live in refugee camps in Bangladesh. Of the 600,000 that remained in Rakhine, around 125,000 are living in displaced people's camps in the state. Iraq inaugurated an oil refinery in the central city of Karbala on Saturday, a project the government hopes will reduce its dependency on imports. Oil Minister Hayyan Abdul Ghani announced the refinery had begun commercial production after an opening ceremony led by the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani. It has the capacity to refine 140,000 barrels per day and help meet local demand for petrol, kerosene and heating oil while reducing imports. Abdul Ghani said the ministry said the refinery, built by the South Korean firm Hyundai, can produce 9 million litres of fuel a day, equivalent to more than half of Iraq's daily imports of 15 million litres. The refinery also has the capacity to produce 200 megawatts of electricity and 60 megawatts of them will be allocated to the national grid. Abdul Ghani also added that Iraq is the second largest producer within the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, exports an average of 3.3 barrels of oil per day. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Shia followers of the Ahlul Bayt worldwide celebrate birth anniversary of Imam Hussain al-Mujtaba. Indonesian actors successfully reenact tragedy of Karbala. Hindu extremists attack a 110-year-old Islamic school and burn over 4,500 books in India. Taliban authorities ban UN female employees from working. Saudi Arabia closes Umrah registration for the rest of the blessed month of Ramadan. Myanmar Navy arrests 130 Rohingya attempting to flee to Malaysia. Oil refinery inaugurates in the holy city of Karbala to reduce imports. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of the screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.